happy with what he's done, so cheers Mick for the help. This door won't be too bad, it's only going to be the corners I'm going to have to worry about. This one's probably the worst one, this one's still here. I may change it just so I can build them sort of the same, because I might change the shape just to make it easier on me. This one, I was hoping to leave it in this lower section, but it's just a lot really close to the line, and you really don't want to do your joins on a corner just because you end up with this wavy sort of line in it. At least now where it's being pressed, it's nice and straight. So I'll decide what I want to do. I may even just do it lower, and then where it's gone higher, I'm just going to have to cut up and go around. Same here, go around. Or I'm going to have to just go up here and put a fold in it, and hopefully that'll be good enough. Windy as shit, noisy as shit, so I apologise about that. But the bottom of the doors are now trimmed away. So passenger door, pretty bad at the back, but I'll rebuild this section. It's pretty solid a lot further up and along here, so it's basically just this corner. This corner's not too bad, this is probably the best one, but I am going to chop it out because it has got holes in it, and I'll rebuild it to match this side, just so it's even and all that sort of thing. And then this corner, yeah, same thing, because it's got a few more holes in it. Along the bottom's not too bad, a few small holes here, but it gets worse. So I'm going to chop that somewhere around here, build a 90, weld it in. That should have that pretty well sorted. This corner, probably the worst. There's nothing really left there. So I'll build a whole new section. I've just got to be careful because if I build it wrong, it will collide with around here and around here. So just one thing to be sort of careful of. Also, I put the radius on these cuts here because doing it to a point actually causes a lot more heat in one area, and you always tend to warp that a lot worse. So a bit of a radius always helps disperse the heat. A few other small bits on these doors, like that section there, I have to weld a little bit in there. Bit of a hole there I have to sort out, and they're going a bit shitty along the front. So that's where the visor was rubbing, and then the paint flared up, and yeah, you get the idea. But I'll clean them up best I can, and then yeah, hopefully we've got doors again. Once the hinges are blasted, I may even bolt it back up to the cab just for the moment, and just have it as a bit of a guide. So just to make sure everything's working right. The front section's there, just about there. Match the door, because I'd be pretty pissed off if I got that wrong. I reckon on these, hopefully get them smashed out before work on Monday. And yeah, get some progress happening. Last night was fairly productive, tonight not so productive. How do you say it? I'm not smart enough. Fortunately, I sort of met me match here. So I've cut the bottoms of the doors off. That's all fine and well. I've cut this corner piece off. It looks not too hard to make, but it is. Because well, I haven't really been doing this, like I'm not a professional or anything. I haven't been doing this for a million years, but so that sits in there like that. And once you get into it, you find that there's a shitload of shapes and the metal changes direction, and it's just a pain in the ass. Also, because these are pressing, all the excess metal goes to the corner here. Doesn't make it any easier. Tried a few ideas, just marking it out, templating it, and the best I got so far is sort of that. If it was like that, I'd probably be pretty happy with it. I'd weld that in and do that, but then you go the other side and it's just, shit's not wanting to line up. It's not straight, it's not lining up. And then you go to put the outside piece on, and if you muck this up, the outside piece isn't going to fit. Won't match your guards, won't match your cab. Just, yeah, I'm over it. So, kind of giving up on that. Also, I went to fold this bottom section up. That's easy done, I can do that, no worries. Weld that in there, but this folder, I've adjusted it, I've mucked around with it, I've looked at things, and it still only wants to fold the ends. Doesn't do fuck all in the centre. So I reckon it's probably from me being an idiot and folding too heavy of stuff on this, and it's actually bowed the bridge on that. And the overall size of it's not great, and I wouldn't mind the pan brake style. So I found one, it's not too bad at priced. Ideally I'd want a 2440, but I'm just going to have to put up with the 1220 for now. Just means more stuff to fit in the shed, which is, yeah, space wise is not good. Doors aren't completely lost. They do make lower sections, so inside pieces, I think it's about here somewhere, all the way across. The only reason I didn't do that was they line up here, shit house, because they're repo, of course. But the idea is I'm actually going to cut them up and do them down here, sort of like I have, just so I can get the corners, because it's already pressed, someone else has already done the hard work for me. Also they do the outers, so I'll do the same thing there and just get basically a lower section of door, repo panel, and weld it to my door, because I don't want to go near any of this. But down here won't matter, because I can tap it around, make it work and blend it in. Finally back on the F-truck. Yeah, that F-truck. So the new panels for the doors, so it's the lower rust section. Also got the outer lower rust section for both sides. Why they're both different, I don't know. This one I prefer, it's a lot better done. This isn't, this is kind of the more cheap Taiwan crap, but anyway. So I started marking the door out, and I'm trying to mark it in an area where it's very easy to match up. Because if I do it wrong and I weld the new section in, it could be that far out that the bottom of the door won't ever line up again. It either won't fit the cab or it won't line up with the body lines. And basically I've got a set of doors that are useless. Sounds like a Datsun. So I've got these sections here. Now most people would try and weld it through here and muck around doing that. I'm not going to do that for the fact of these are rough as Hessian undies. But they are repo and I don't have a choice. I've got to fix it, and it's basically my only option because I can't build this section. I just not physically smart enough in the head. And the reason I'm not doing it up here like that is, you have a look, sort of where the light's shining, that's a pretty sort of rough line on there. And then you look at the original one, nice sharp, perfectly straight, nothing wrong with it. And these bottoms are actually really straight. They haven't had seat belts smash into them, something chronic or anything like that. What I've got to do is I've marked down here, try and keep it on a flat surface away from a corner or a fold, because it's a lot easier to get this nice and even than potentially trying to grind here, changing the radius, it looks shit, and then at the same time you can end up thinning that down, and then you've got yourself more problems. I've been measuring it, I'm about to template it onto here and mark it around. So pretty much just going to weld it on straight, come around here, so 30mm down. Of course it changes here. Here's a kind of a guess, just because it's a flat radius. Ends about 15mm down from the top there, goes straight. I'm trying to keep it as low down on the door as possible. So just at the end of the rust, because I know this metal's good. So anyway, I'll get into it. Pieces of cut. My cuts aren't the straightest, I will admit. But that's pretty much all I was going to use. So you got all that. Pretty much useless to me, but it's the only panel that will have this section in it. And sometimes you just got to do that. Unless you want to put repo shit on the bottom half of your door. Some people do it, but I've seen a lot of times they do that. And you can pick, like, it stands out like dog's balls, especially with this line here. It just looks completely shit house to the rest, and the door doesn't fit right, and you can sort of see that it's wavy as through there, and that door there is still straight, so I know which I'd choose, and it's already connected to everything else. But I'll just sit this on here sort of roughly, if it wants to. So that's pretty much how it's going to fit. Of course it needs trimming, bit of tweaking, bit of bending, whatnot. Now I've left it a bit long around here and up there just because I couldn't exactly measure that, because it's on a sort of a radius that way as well as going around the corner. And this one, it's pretty close, I just need to trim it down a little bit more. And the end I left there long as well. But once all that's done, then I can start tacking it to the door. Once it's tacked to the door, then I can start hammering on it, straightening it out, because it definitely needs a bit of tweaking. It is repo, which is just code word for shit. But that's pretty much the plan. Perfect plan would be get a set of doors. I tried that, that didn't work. For most people it might, but yeah, I seem to get stooged every time I try shit like that. So anyway, I'll fix the originals, and yeah, hopefully they come up close. If they don't fit the body, I'm going to be pissed off, and it's the last thing I want, because I want them to fit. And especially when, yeah, I am doing the body work, I definitely don't want it to look like shit. Bottom half of the door is on, so it's all just tacked every while or so. The reason I do that is to try and get the heat down, especially with thinner steel. The more heat, the easier it's going to warp. I know it's probably fairly solid with all the pressing and ribs and all that sort of shit, but it's better just to try and keep the heat down anyway, especially with this piece. The last thing you want is to heat it up too much and this end up bowing out at the bottom. So empty, consumption of something we don't need at all. Holes we can't fill, a never-ending song. Again from the top now. Textbook cases we open. Didn't film anymore, but the bottom of the door is on. Welded in. It's come up pretty good. We'll probably need some tweaking around here, just because the shape might be a little bit sort of out, but nothing that's too hard. It's all welded around. Not quite metal finish, but it's not me. Fix this section here. It was all rusted away. What I did was I just cut it out, put a little bit of a fold in the new piece, drilled the holes, radius the corners, welded in, and you got it pretty close. Probably a little bit of a low in there, but nothing I can't really sort out. Cleaned up a little bit of the rust around the top. Also, probably see there, there's a rust hole there, so I fixed that up, got rid of that. And that's pretty much just all rust free again. I will have to put the skin on, but I wouldn't mind putting on the body first and doing that. Another day, another door. On the passenger side now, this door is a hell of a lot easier than that one. It's only this section here that's all rusty, so I'll cut that out of the repo section. I know it's a waste of a whole panel, but as long as these doors are going again, that's all I'm worried about. I'll cut out what I need, get it from there, weld it in here. Down here is a little bit ordinary, so what I'll do is I'll just nick the skin, fold it back, clean it all up, make sure there's nothing in there, treat it, fold the skin back down, weld it, and it should be right after that. Shouldn't give me any more grief. This side's probably the worst, but I'll just cut out what I need out of here, weld in here. And the good thing about this door is I've got the horizontal and the vertical sides still there. So all I gotta do is just meet the two up and make sure it's all welded in. Not really that difficult. So I'll get into this, start cutting shit out, and yeah, hopefully have it done.